Good morning, everyone. Today at the races at Laurel Park, Naomi Tucker joined by Keith Fusel. Keith, what a gorgeous day coming our way here.
You can't strike it up any better than this. This is beautiful. Chamber of Commerce kind of day at Laurel Park. And, yeah, if you're just tuning in, maybe kind of tune us out for a little bit, get in the car and come down if you can enjoy the live racing. But, yeah, really, really beautiful day here at Laurel Park.
I agree. This is set to be a great day. 10 races on the card. And, of course, we are a week out from the Fall Festival of Racing. A 5-stakes event, $600,000 in purses. Of course, headlined by the two-year-old stakes, $150,000 each, going along on the turf. Yeah, I mean, we're looking ahead to some stellar races, some great action. And you know what? Even on days like this, these fields don't disappoint. This is not easy handicapping. Truly a test to find a winner, but also incredibly enjoyable watching.
Absolutely. We've got 4 turf races on tap today. We've got 6 dirts, and looking ahead to that fall festival, it looks like a great day. A lineup, a who's who of trainers for next weekend. So, yeah, that's going to be a busy car for me to get through on Wednesday, draw, right? Wednesday for Saturday.
Yeah, same here. We'll both be very busy leading up to that weekend. Let's have a look at the current track conditions. We are on the turf today. Track is yielding. You can see the rail is out quite far here, but happy to be back on the turf course. Of course, we had so much rain over the last few days that we weren't able to hold any events on it. It is looking superb here, as expected. A little bit of cut in the ground. We don't mind that. Fast main track, though.
Yeah, the inner turf, the rail will be 35, the outer at 87 feet. The settings there for your rails on the turf course. Certainly a yielding course, not one we get a lot of here at Laurel Park, but we're going to kind of keep you monitored, see how it's playing. But it looks in great condition. I mean, it is plush right now. But, yeah, these yielding courses, they can be a little bit tricky sometimes. You know, some of these horses, they've never been on it. We're taking a little bit of a guess. We'll see how the flow sets up in some of these races. If you'd be advantageous to be a little bit closer, we shall see.
I think sometimes it seemingly is the case, but let's see how things unfold today. Race number 1 started the early pick 5. I decided to go with that sequence today. Does mean that I land on a single in the first race because my best bet is the number 10 South Sea for trainer Rob Clasaris. Horatio Caramanos on board. He is going to be stretching back out to the mile here. I think he's shown that he's going to have plenty of pace, of course, because going from the sprinting to the routing distances. But if he gets that lone lead, slows them right down, I'm hoping he's going to absolutely steal it. So that is my best bet of the day. Now, if you want to use a horse underneath, completely understandable. I really like the number 1 King's Honor and the number 4 Just Whistle for Michael Matz as well. If you want to just back yourself in a little bit for the race 2, I go 2 deep, 3 and the 5 DC Fireman, as well as the number 5 Victory Element, my top selection there. Race 3 also 2 deep, the 5 and the 6 I feel are the main players in that spot. Hashtag Lucky and Rue La La. Race number 4, 1, 3, 5, 7. Race number 5, 1, 2, 4. $24 early pick 5 tickets, so plenty of room for any additional horses, if you will, especially perhaps in that first leg. Let's talk about that first race on the card. Optional claimer, starter allowance. We're going to go 1 mile on the yielding turf course. And Keith, you use King's Honor on top. My top bet in second. That kind of makes me happy, at least that you do give him a good chance. Of course, Brittany Russell trains King Honor. Bit of a clunker last time. That was 2 months ago. A break since. I'm looking to see him return to the level of that 2 other than win, where he was so tenacious within reach the entire time. That was at Pimlico, and he dug in deep.
I think we're looking at this race a little bit similarly from a pace flow. You know, we're seeing maybe a softer course. You're thinking like I'm thinking. Maybe if things get to kind of a little bit slow up front. These horses have some class. They've got some stamina. South Sea, King's Honor. Maybe they can separate and hold late. But King's Honor, just a dud of a race last time at Colonial. It was like 3 wide the first turn, a little bit of a steady early, was a little bit tough to settle for Forest, but Forest Boys comes back, and this horse has bounced back in the past from bad efforts. I think this horse showed it can handle some given the ground. You saw it last year over a good turf course. Might even be yielding that day. That really had some cut in it. prompted the pace, was able to open up and hold on. I think this horse gets forward position and stays much better than that try at Colonial. Something just must have went amiss.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it was
couldn't
traveling
really find
down
an
there. I don't know.
explanation, but yes, looking for him to just regain that form. Yeah, I use Southie. We're just talking about possibly the pace being advantageous on that yielding turf course. Well, he's going to have an abundance of it.
Yes.
What I do know is that most of the times, if they're going along on the turf, not everyone is as keen to send the horses to the front. I'm hoping that's going to play into my hand, and her ratio is going to set a perfect pace on the lead there from that outside draw. I think he can steal it here. Now, I hope he will.
He's run okay. I mean, the race at Gulfstream in a mile, 3 races back, he took pressure. 4 races back at 7.5. That's 2 turns, just like we've got today, and held quite well. I think he's going to be alone on the lead. I think he's going to clear early, try to throttle things down. Good effort last time against a quality bunch of horses. Completed pass just a little too good there on the drop. So, yeah, I like these 2 around the racetrack. I'll key around those 2 in my exactas, use on top and bottom, because you're going to get value. I don't think anybody's going to be 8-5 in here. If anybody, they're going to jump on maybe King Bubble. He ran well on the raise up last time against a good field and drops back into the starter, in for the tag for 25. He's going to make a run.
Yeah, absolutely. 6-day turnaround for that Claudio Gonzalez train. I also used the 4 Just Whistle for Michael Max. He had to go wide at Colonial against, I think, a slightly tougher group than what he sees here. Now gets back to the level that he needs. He was campaigning at graded stakes level, much in too deep there. This is kind of a spot where he's capable of winning, hence I use him in my exacta. Race number 2, 5.5 furlongs dash on the main track for the nickel claimers in here. And Keith, we use the exact same horses as well as the number 3 DC Fireman to hopefully lead the way. He is so fast early.
He's very quick. Got the job done at Timonium. Was able to kind of steal away, opened up too quickly. May not have to use as hard, maybe early in the first quarter of a mile. I knew Blue Danube has got some speed. Victory Element, question mark here, second time off of a break. Notice a scratch a couple times at Timonium. But I think it's going to be the 3's race to lose on the front end.
Yeah, I use Victory Element underneath. You use him as well. Second start after a lengthy break, and he gets down to the lowest level as well. Surely that's going to help him move back forward.
Absolutely. He's going to be a chaser in here. See if he's got a little bit more stamina build up off of that lace. I kind of like Confusion Baby Boy, maybe to kind of just settle off the pace, save some ground early, and rally into it. I thought last race was pretty good behind DC Fireman. 4 furlongs, not really his go-to distance. He's going to be a little bit better here at 5.5. I think he can sit and make a run from just off of it.
Yeah, I think he's better off kind of saving a little bit of energy. I know that he's been on the lead in the past, but I feel like he's just a touch better when saving a little bit more for late. Followed by race number 3, 7 furlongs the distance there. You got a couple of significant scratches in the 1 and the 2. Princess Jor, tough but fair, because they both ran yesterday, 1-2 actually.
They were your exacta, yes.
In race 6 yesterday, going longer. So I landed on Rue La La, very unexposed sort for Phil Shonto. Yes, she broke her maiden 10. We know then stepping up to the 16 is perhaps maybe a step too high, but she won it so easily. She can only beat what was put in front of her, and I like her to hopefully improve in this spot.
Yeah, well prepped for that race, was into it right off the bat, relaxed just off the pace setter, kind of went to the lead with ease and held firm to the wire. I'm just comparing maybe times, that race, her race at Timonium compared to #Lucky's race on September the 5th, much quicker. And we've got a stat for Rodolfo Sanchez Salaman. He was a little chilly there for a while, right? Well, he is red hot right now. This rider, Luis Batista, they're teaming up, doing well. Dirt sprints, last 45 days, look at this stat. 6 for 19, 32%, 12 for 19 in the money with an ROI of 377. #Lucky to the front with a good break. Had an excuse last time against much better. If she breaks, I think she's going on the front end.
Yeah, I use her in my exacta. I think she's very, very dangerous, but just want to see if Rue La La is stepping it up to the challenge. Bit of a question mark, but you know what? She's a 3-year-old. I think she can handle perhaps a little bit of pressure. She is going to have to step that forward. But like you said, well prepared in this spot. Race number 4 is a bit of a spread race for me, but also start of the middle pick 4 for you, Keith. How do you see this first leg?
I think there's some value in this middle pick 4. I'm going to go with this $27 ticket. 1s and 3s are wild, I guess, in the first 3 legs that I've got. 1-3-7 to get you started. Mystical Man making a return to the turf, first off the claim. 1-3-4 in race number 5. It's a tricky little race, but I think Ness, first time Ness, is going to be very difficult to beat in the 5th. Race 6, we're going to go 1-3-5 again. Breeding, great idea, suggests turf. We shall see. And race 7, wrap it up with the 6 and the 7. There is some pace in here, gentlemen. Joe's working lights out. Armando R. If things get hot and heavy up front, look for that guy to come rolling from the back of the pack. $27 for the early pick. I'm sorry, a middle pick 4. I'm always used to say
middle pick
early
4,
pick
yeah.
4, middle pick 4.
Look, we know that you play the pick 4s where you see value, and $27 hands a good investment, because you did see a lot of price plays coming in yesterday. A lot of big odds horses. Certainly was paying very well. Yesterday was tricky. I'm not going to lie. Yesterday was very challenging. Today's a new day. We're going to pick plenty more winners here. Let's start with Mystical Man. I mean, you know what? I find him really hard to place in this spot. It's the first start for Jack Fisher. Of course, he's a national hunt trainer, jumps trainer, as you would say here. Only one work since his last race, which was 2.5 months ago. That put me off. Now, what I do like is he's run on the turf before. They wanted to get him on the turf in that last race. That was rained off. Ran a 90 career best figure. So clearly very capable. Just wonder how fit he's going to be coming into this.
I think Jack Fisher found a field somewhere where this horse was jogging around on some hills or something. I would think. One work here, September 22nd, but I think fitness is going to be okay for a guy who gets a lot of steeplechase wins. I know I think there's some jumps going on today over in my neck of the woods over in Glendon, over at Shawan. But anyhow.
I pick as a winner there too, or?
Yeah, he might. But looking at this horse, this was a tough race for me to line. I made this horse a slight favorite at 5-2, just thinking the public might jump on that 90 buyer last time out. It was a maiden 75, won comfortably. But here's the key for me. This is going to be first time gelding on the turf, first time Lasix on the turf, and I go back to his only turf race. It was a good field. 6th place finisher there, came back to win a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Okay, with a good number, has gone on. A couple other horses have run well in stakes. That was a salty field at 2. Ran an okay number at 2. I think he's going to be improved off of that. Back to the turf is okay for us, boys. And Jack Fisher, the last several years, 24% when they team up on the turf. So, yeah, I think he's a different kind of horse right now, and I think he can make a run from mid-pack.
Yeah, I'm very much looking to see what we have with Mystical Man. I landed on the number 7 on top here, English Tavern for Hamilton Smith. He keeps on closing for a piece, and he just hasn't been able to get the spoils since November last year. You do wonder, is he going to be rallying strong enough to get this? But then I was looking back at some of his time for pace figures. Has run numbers that are just much better than some of the others here on turf in this field. So I was going with Fergal Lynch and Hamilton Smith in here. We know how strong Fergal is riding the turf and how patient he can be. Looking forward to this.
We've seen the horses come up from Colonial that ran down on that turf course to get some fit, and they've run well here. They've been competitive. Trying to get a gauge on the buyer figures comparatively, they seem a little bit high, but the company lines are good for English Tavern. You really had some good Churchill Downs type horses that were running well in first level allowances down there, running against English Tavern. I think he fits in here. Shortening back up, I think this mile and 16 is a little bit better than what he ran last time. But from a flow standpoint, this is a tricky race as well. Is the 2 just going to go ahead and clear? But McMahon's got 2 horses in here, right? He's got the 2 and the 8. They both want to be forward. I don't think the instructions are don't get involved in a duel. But I'm seeing them maybe come back to the field. I'm looking for a horse from off the pace here. I'm going 1-7-3. I think American Dora, we've got a video of his most recent try, and he's just found a home, it looks like, Naomi, on the turf course. He's got things figured out right now. We're going to pick him up, the 6th horse, this particular day. Blinkers went on 3 races back, and he's just improved. And I didn't know if he was going to be able to handle the stretch out. Boy, was I wrong. He just shifted out and runs a big effort here, covered up inside, swings out and makes a bold run. Just denied by U.S. Constitution, a Trombetta runner who has done quite well recently on the turf. Take nothing away from that effort. That was a good one. American Dora right back as a player.
Eye-catching effort here. I'll give you my 2 cents on that, because that was Tim Tulloch's price play that day. So I'm sitting here watching it with Tim, and he's going, Havian, you were stuck in the spot there. Get him out. He did get him out, but perhaps ran out of time to run them down. I mean, this was a horse that responded very willingly for Toledo. Gets Horatio Carmano on board here. But I was really taken by that run. I just remember it because it was Tim's price play, and he wanted him to win so badly. Do you think with a bit more of a cleaner sort of grinding run, a bit more of an earlier move than being able to get out early than what he did here, he's going to be very, very tough in this spot. Look, this is a spread race for me. I can make a case for a fair few in this spot. I use Willing to Speed as well. Showed a lot of ability when closing into a slow pace last time out. That was after 115 days away from the track. Now, second after that break and first after the claim. Now, Ben Feliciano, perhaps not the best stats first after the claim, but I still like the angle that a different barn, had a break, had a run, and now coming back here. I think he can really make a move too. Like these all seem very evenly matched, and that's why I highlighted. And I like your take on the number one. I feel like he is the wild card in this spot, in a great way.
And like I say, I'm a little confused at how the public's going to come in on this race. So, like I say, I think they might jump on the 90. American Door is going to take play visually. Certainly, the number works off its slicer. But you talk about the 5. He's an established, a seasoned turf runner. Again, that $10,000 open claimer was a good race. The 2-back race for 16 at Tampa was good. That second place finish for Fly Knightley came back to win two races at Arlington on the turf. Good races, like numbers in the low 80s. So this has got to be a spread race, no doubt.
Yeah, it is for me for sure. Race number 5, maiden claimers 25 to 20,000 a mile and 16 on the main track. So we have that start just before the turn here. Both of us landed on the number 4, the Angry Man for trainer Jamie Ness, Carlos Lopez. This is a gelding who's mainly been campaigned on the turf, but once you look further back, he's got some very, very decent main track figures against some tough Saratoga maiden special weights, going the mile and an eighth. In his last dirt track, he actually ended up getting clipped by the runner behind him just at the start. I think that left him a little bit uncomfortable. He was still part of the pace, then just allowed to finish up. I do not believe that was a good barometer for his performance overall on the main track. I think he's going to come back with some of those higher buyer numbers and hopefully a cleaner race without someone just nabbing his hind heel, because that can't be nice.
No, that can't be. And there's other races on the way back. I mean, 80s. I mean, I don't know if he's going to run that today. But first time for Ness. He's been deadly with this kind of move with the maidens. The last 3 years on the dirt, 4 for 12, 11 for 12 in the money with maiden claimers first after a barn change. This horse is forward. I think the one award nominated is going to be tough. Has enough speed from the rail to get position. Second time now going along for Jeremiah O'Dwyer. A little drop maiden special weight. The maiden claimer should pick its head up. So I'm around the 1 and the 4 here. They will be my keys, top and bottom. Again,
he's the number 2 Corkman as well. Ran against some tough maiden special weight company up in New York, and now coming back as a 4-year-old. Has only started as a 3-year-old. Will he be ready? Do question that. But a lengthy work tab coming into this. A lot of sort of 5 furlong moves that I absolutely love when going a mile and 16 or even further. As we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with race number 6. Welcome again. We're at Laurel Park. We've got 10 races coming your way. Plenty of action on this gorgeous Saturday. But we're on race number 6. Maiden claiming 40 to 32,000. 1 mile on the turf. We'll start with your top selection in here, Keith, the number 3, Great Idea. And we straight away can go back to his last efforts. That was on the main track where he didn't get away that well. He ended up having a little bit his head up, and it was just a little bit rank there early.
Yeah, you see that, and you see that in debut to the comment in the race back on May the 6th at Pimlico. Rank off slow, but really came running late. Finally, Firo gets this guy, settled, relaxed a little bit, down past the 5/8 and into the far turn. Look at this run, though. I mean, it's kind of a bold run here. 4-5 wide, past the 5/16, and doing it quite comfortably. Just can't quite sustain at the mile and 16th distance after that little bit of trouble, and off of one sprint. Yeah, I like to see maybe one more sprint under the belt, but just a little flattening here from the top of the stretch home. Giving some time off. Great Idea. The breeding suggests turf. This horse obviously handled the dirt okay, but I think might be a little bit better. Is a full to Epic Idea, a horse that has done well going long on the turf, pretty versatile, short or long. So I think Great Idea here. Just a little bit better behavior early, Naomi. A little chance to settle. And I think the mile should be right up his alley.
Yeah, Dan was old turf as well, 4 times winning sprinter on the grass.
Yeah.
So you're right, completely bred to enjoy getting on the grass. Hence, I use him in second because I actually landed on another trainee for Jack Fisher. We were just discussing his other runner in the race before. Forrest Boyce gets on Welshman. 2.5 months off, showed late interest after not being able to go with them over 7 furlongs on turf at Belmont. I think Malo further suits his horse just so much better. Looking forward to see how he'll fare with a different trainer. And you're right, again, perhaps not that many works, but good enough for me coming into this, and just an intriguing prospect in this spot.
Absolutely. Right kind of rider, trainer jock combination. Very, very good. We'll probably settle somewhere in mid-pack. Another off of breeding. We'll go to the 1, Call You Right Back. Bottom side, Figli d'Oro is half to an allowance winner on the turf. Now, Trombetta with this move, second career start and going to the turf, he's pretty good. He's 23%, but the majority have been sprinting. Going long has been a little bit different story, but seeing the breeding here might suggest can handle the route of ground. The inside post is certainly going to help. I think this horse takes up a stalking position as well.
Yeah, I like your call on that one. I also use the number 7 Ballyhoo Prince, possibly one of the pace makers in this spot. We'll move on to race number 7. Still got a couple races to go.
Right.
The 1-turn mile here, optional claimer starter allowance. And we see this a little bit differently in this spot. You have the number 6 on top, and here, Gentleman Joe. I have him underneath. I was wondering to put him back further up. Comes in here off a break for trainer Hamilton Smith. Has been working very, very strongly, though. I must admit that. A minute flat, 2 back on the 10th of September, and after that a 7 furlong move. I mean, he's putting some stamina into this weather.
That's the key. This is kind of maybe like Jovis yesterday, who we called it a pretty good price. Back, to the friendly confines of Laurel Park. This horse is thriving right now. There is speed to the inside. Yes, the 1. There is a storm brewing for Michelle Nevin, comes in off the 7/8, a 3/4 strike. Is going to be going from the inside. But I think Gentleman Joe, other than that, just takes up that prompting position. You've got Acosta here. Acosta's going to fill in and ride for Orojo. So note that on your programs. When this horse is right, he's good. And he can dog this kind of speed horse to his inside and keep going. I like Gentleman Joe in here. The way, if the workouts are anything close, he's going to be a major player. Now, if things get super hot and heavy, Armando are turf to dirt, closed against the bias at Pimlico with a big number. We haven't seen horses come from way, way back on this main track. He's going to need things really
I am a little worried
heated
about
up
that.
on the front end.
We haven't
but that's
seen
my key as a
anyone
deeper closer.
Yeah,
yes.
we haven't seen anyone make up like 5 lengths or more. We have seen horses coming off the pace with riders aboard, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Armando, I just kind of shied away from that deep closer on this track. As you mentioned, I use Ink. He was able to survive after dueling on the pace and kick clear at Monmouth about 3 weeks ago for Claudio Gonzalez. I feel like he's taking that next step forward. I'm taking here on that next progression. I think he's not going to mind the 1-turn mile here at all. He stays the distance. And we know that Claudio has, had a good day yesterday.
Sure.
Let's continue this momentum.
Yeah, Barnes going well right now. The Yes Sir Colonel, you've got a horse coming in from Penn. A couple big blowout races. 3 in a row was DQ'd 2 races back. Just a different kind of horse. Okay, from last year. I don't know where this has come from. This is a barn that doesn't come in here much, but when they do, they've done pretty well. I just think this is a step up here. He's going to have to show me one time. I'll use him a little bit underneath.
True. Good point there. Race number 8, mile and 16, first level allowance. Let's start with Romp with his start that actually didn't go away that well at all. We both used him underneath. That was at Laurel, the 1-turn mile, and really unfortunate. You saw he nearly touched with his nose on the floor, didn't he?
Bet down and down he went, right? Unfortunately, the nose right to the track there and had to recover. Does recover, is able to kind of work up into a position by the time the field gets into the far turn. And this is what's kind of got me a little bit worried. Maybe there'll be a slight equipment change. I'm not sure. Just kind of laying in here and Forrest doing whatever she can, to try to keep this guy straightened out. He really loomed into the stretch, but just wasn't completely focused. Shifts down to the inside. Does keep going on okay. I don't think that was the strongest other than that field. I mean, it just misses the bob here. It was a nose away from getting through the condition. So, yes, the trouble was there. I think he's going to have to run a little bit better, though, too, off of that. Even with a clean trip, he's going to have to move up numbers-wise.
Yeah,
slightly.
I agree as well. That's why I use him in third. We both key around the same top two. Let's start with Dream Big Dreams. I use him on top here. I feel like he's found his niche with going 2 turns. He ran against stakes winners in Shackled Love and Welling in his last outing. He's kept the right company throughout his career. Of course, can he take that next step? I hope he will.
Yeah, he's a horse that kind of lags a little bit. You really have to kind of get into him from the far turn to sustain that run. Is there going to be enough flow up front for him to rally into it? But, again, he's that kind of upper 70s kind of horse, and you look at that works for this field. So I think he'll make his way into contention by the top of the stretch. But I take Brutus on top. He's just going great guns right now for Kieran. He's done this before with some of these lower level claimers and just right up through the conditions, right up through the claiming ladder and into the allowance races. Again, he was so good at Timonium. He just drugged the rider to the front, was able to control things. I think here at a mile and 16th, again, he's the main speed. He's sharp. I think he can go coast to coast.
Yeah, I like him in here as well. Very flexible runner at it too. Our feature, 2 other than fillies and mares, 3-year-old and up, mile and 1/8 on the turf, race number 9. We'll start with the number 2 deciding vote. Both of us have her in our exact. We have a video at Monmouth where we were basically looking at her just trying to stop making a move.
Yeah, I mean, it settles, quite well early on and then just picks up a run about 4 wide from the far turn. Pace was okay. It was a loose leader, and I just like the way she sustains this run, and you've got a barn that comes in that means business when they come in. This is the thing. This is one thing I want to ask you, Naomi. It took her a little bit to switch lead. She stayed on that left lead, but once she kicks it over, she really moves away. Is that a fact sometimes with the riders not be able to kind of use the whip up at Mama? I've got to think it's a little bit easier to control with the stick. You don't have that there, so now
I will ask Callie for you. She, of course, is a jockey, but as an exercise rider, what I do know is that you can make horses change leads. You're not using your stick for it. I never use my stick to make horses change leads. You can use it with your balance, with cues from your legs and your hands. If they're not changing over mid-race and you've got a run like that, are you going to force them? I wouldn't. I would try to guide them there, try to keep them there, keep moving forward, because you can still win the race even if the horse doesn't want to cooperate with you to change that lead. So is it necessary to then completely bring them off balance with the stick to make them switch over? I probably would go against that, but like I said, I will ask Callie again, because I think she'll have a better insight here than I would, as I never rode races. But I do get where you're coming from. I think it's also a cultural perspective. Of course, the fact that we're going left-handed around the bend here. Back in Europe, when we train horses, the lead changes aren't that important. You allow them to do it within themselves. Yes, you want them to be comfortable on both leads, but if they're not going to switch, we tend to leave them a little bit more at it and let them do it naturally and what they prefer. So there's 2 sides to the coin when it comes to this. Let's talk about our top selections in here. We'll start with the number 3 for you, Positive Danger for Justin Nixon. Charlie Marquez aboard. Now, this is a very fast 4-year-old. I think she's going to absolutely try and take them all the way. Now, the question is she going to be able to hold on until the end? This is a mile and an 1/8. She has gone the mile at Colonial. Is she vulnerable in that latter stage? I think so, and hence I've used her underneath. But Justin Nixon, of course, doesn't run that many yet here, but when he does, very, very live.
I think that was a good field at Colonial. This is second off of a 290-day break. She's one off of this kind of break, second off the break before. And there's just, to me, nobody to kind of go with her. I was back and forth. I really wanted to use deciding vote on top. I'm keying around these 2 again. I will use these kind of interchangeable. Slight edge to the 3, but I think, she's got some heart. She turned away the first challenge last time out. Around the final turn, she took pressure from the 3/8. The rider was kind of into it. She was able to shake clear. Couldn't quite hold on late, switched over that left lead inside the 16th bowl. That was a good field. Enola Gray's a grade 2 winner at 3 going back. She relaxes. She's been tenacious at a mile and a 16th. I think she's going to be okay at a mile and 1/8, but I do fear the run of deciding vote.
See, I have Cat's Pajamas on top in this spot. I think she's going to carve out a lovely trip from the inside. Fergal Lynch aboard for Graham Motion. She's gone up against tougher at Saratoga in her last 2. The distance suits her absolutely to a T. She's going to relish this mile and an 1/8. 5th in the grade 2 Lake Placid, only beaten by 3 lengths. Perhaps she never got up to that stakes level that, of course, Graham Motion's got plenty of other runners in his bond that do. I think this is a perfect spot for her here.
Yeah, the thing that this one made again, sailing into the wind back at Pimlico. Now, granted, that was off of a break. She couldn't quite reel that one in. I think the 3 might be a little bit better in the same kind of situation, giving her that. She's going to probably be under a sustained drive from the far turn, as a bunch of these are. We're going to see who sustains the best over this yielding ground. And again, that's another predicament. I know the 2s run okay on it. We shall see. Good race. The row goes through the 3 as long as she breaks cleanly.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. The nightcap, non-winners are 2 lifetime. Nickel Claimers 5.5 furlongs. You landed on the number 5 in here, who I use underneath Bayano. Look, long break, then a race, now back as a 5-year-old. And I thought that comeback run was something to build upon.
That was good. And I didn't expect to see him going that quick, that soon. I mean, right to the front. But was fresh. This horse is another one. On the go back is one of its better numbers. Second off of a break. Some questionable speed types in there. I don't know what to do with Pepe and Haywood for the Frocks. That's a tough one to figure. But I think Bayano, if needed, he can sit just off of it and maybe attack mid-turn and go on with it from there. 5-2-1-3 in the 10th. Paid Holiday's awfully quick early as well. I think it's going to be a contested pace in the 5 stalks and moves into it.
Yeah, I use the number 2 count. The shells on top, as we'll finish things off with lightning round. Quite the performance there from 3-year-old Belle of the North. Regally bred, her dam Harley Rose is a half-sister to the mighty Zenyatta. I did get the chance to speak with Jose Corrales after it and Horatio Caramanos, and they were both incredibly taken by what she showed them today. And of course, are looking at hopefully bigger targets down the line.
Absolutely. I mean, just a major improvement over the last start. Relaxed inside. Shifted out, never looked like a loser. Basically, from mid-turn, you just saw, the rider just sitting there with a ton of horse, and boy, she just kind of exploded within her easily to the wire. So and just kept on going. Was difficult to pull up through the gallop out. Major improvement there for Belle of the North, and she's another one. I don't like doing. I'd keep her on the dirt, but there could be turf in the offing down the road as well when you kind of look a little bit further down in that breeding.
Yeah. No, I was very, very taken. Now, 7 furlongs the distance. 3-year-olds, 123.30. The reason I'm highlighting this is because the next spotlight is on Moquist. 7 furlongs. She's also a 3-year-old, and she ran a full second faster. Same track, same conditions, 122.30 for the 7 furlong. That was her second start in her career. I spoke with Dale Capuano beforehand, wondering, is she this good? What are we going to see from her today? And he said, well, if she's that good, she's going to prove it. And, well, she did not disappoint whatsoever.
No, was able to get to the front, took a little pressure, kicked away. This was a good run. Bayer was a 76, Bella of the North 64. Bella of the North, was able to kind of sit back, and she did it in hand. This one was pretty much almost fully extended to the wire, but 2 really nice, promising horses here at Laurel Park.
Yeah. Definitely really enjoyed the action from yesterday, so write them both down to see where they'll end up next. As far as last Friday's Stronach 5, we did have a decent payout once again, and decent is an understatement. $3,871 to 19 lucky ticket holders. We keep saying it whenever you play that Stronach 5, because there's always a good payout involved.
It was huge again. You go through it and do it up as a parlay. It was much better. Yeah, you got to love the bet. And if you're not taking advantage, we had a promotion, right, yesterday for first bet.
$10
hopefully, maybe somebody took advantage of that and took it down. So we shall see.
Absolutely. Plenty of promotional offers coming your way if you're betting using First Bet or Express Bet. Of course, our official wagering partners that are always making sure that you can get a nice offer or a little bit of money back whenever you are playing our sequences. That will conclude the morning show. I'll be back with Callie in the afternoon. Keith will be upstairs. And, of course, Dave Rotman will be next with Scratches and Changes.
You got it. Good luck.